Welcome. I want to talk today about having confidence with your money, and specifically when it comes to starting an idea, running a business, or really stepping into what your life's purpose is. I'm actually going to share my own story today. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Rachel Minnie. I am the founder of Financial Fitness Unleashed, and I have a very interesting story around failing at business, going back to corporate life, learning new things, understanding what it is that I really wanted to get out of my vision and my purpose for my life. And I have again stepped back into the business world so that I can really empower women in gaining confidence with their money. So, with that, I'll just dive right in. My story starts really when I began working in the financial services industry. I was in college. It was a great way to increase my income, learn something at the same time, be in college, get college paid for, which was great. And when I left my first finance job, I actually went into practice for myself. So at 23, I started a business. I basically wanted to really create the time freedom that I was looking for and help people. Those were the main objectives. I honestly didn't think much beyond that other than I really enjoyed the education that I had received around finances from my first firm, but also sharing that information with others was one of my passions. So I went through that process of starting a business and a practice to do so. And I found after 4 years of really putting my heart and soul into it, I was at a burnout phase. I um, became really ill. I didn't know what to do next. I didn't have an exit strategy. I made all the wrong decisions financially. It felt like I was a fraud, and it felt like I'm sitting here trying to help other people with their money, but I couldn't even help myself. So there was a huge disconnect and lack of confidence in my own ability to do this when I'm, sitting here and sharing with others how to do it for themselves. So I went back into corporate and gained a ton of great skills, really honed what it is that I enjoyed doing. I ended up being on multiple project teams that really expanded my abilities as far as project management, consulting, but also teaching others. And I was able to teach hundreds of other peers of mine in a new way that we ran the business that I was on the project team for. So, my point in that is when you allow yourself new opportunities, even after you fail, you really start to transform and expand into what else you get to learn. And for being in financial services for the last 15 years, I've had a lot of those moments. The biggest one that I think really propelled me into transformation was when I went from this efficient startup mindset environment into a Fortune 500 company and a manager in a Fortune 500 company. So I made it to the big leagues. I went all in. I went into management and I had resisted management for quite some time. I had been asked to be in management for a long time and didn't really feel the call to do so. And when I finally did, it was interesting because this was at a point in my life where I had finally gotten certain on what it is that I wanted. I knew what kind of security I wanted financially. I knew what kind of time freedom I wanted. I knew that I wanted to be able to work remotely at times. So I was able to get a lot of those things, not all of them completely, but a lot of them by transitioning companies and moving around and gaining new experience in corporate. So when I'd finally come to this point of realization, like, wow, okay, I feel like I've made it. I'm, in the six figures category. I've increased my income by 400% from the time I was at my lowest, which was feeling burnt out, leaving my business, moving on, and kind of running away scared. And coming to this place of, okay, I put in the work. I worked hard. I transitioned companies. I took risks. I did things that other people weren't doing, and I got different results, which is what was constantly ingrained in me from day one of running my business. But what really was missing once I kind of came to this pinnacle point was the passion and the purpose. I didn't really align myself with what it is that I was passionate at. And in the back of my mind, I knew that I was just yearning for something more. I knew that I wanted to make a bigger impact and have a more massive influence. And while I learned a lot in management, I learned patience, I learned how to help others succeed without doing it for them. And really, what that comes in the form of is building confidence in others, empowering my employees, engaging my employees in their work, even if it was mundane work, and learning how to facilitate communication amongst others. Collaboration, I think, is really important, and what allowed me to have the success on the teams that I was on. But I also really wanted to get back into business. I really wanted to identify how I could use all of these tools and skills that I had learned over those 15 years and put them to work. And I read a book called The Go Giver by Bob Berg, and that is the light up point. That is when I was just thinking to myself, like, yes, this is what I want to do. I don't know how it's going to look. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I want to give back in a way that allows others to receive such just confidence and empowerment and love for themselves so that they can then go be reciprocating of that. They can then go to their world around them and give all that love and confidence and experience back to the world around them. That's what I want to do, and that's what I want to influence. So I went back to the drawing board of running that business that I once failed at, and how could it look different? And there's new technology out. It's maybe a lot easier than it once was when I tried it the first time around. So I got all the pieces together. I got a business coach. I got a lot of mentorship along the way, even in the form of just simply life mentorship. And having mentors and having coaches coach me really allowed me to get vulnerable with what was in the gap. And some days, what still is in the gap, and being aware of that so that I know how to pivot and I know how to move forward with that information that I'm gaining around myself. And to find success, I've really dug into starting with vision. What I didn't have the first time around was a strong vision and an alignment with what it is that I get to cause and create. And when you start with vision, the questions you ask yourself is, what do you see for yourself 1 year, 3 year, 5 years out? And even expanding beyond that, what do you see yourself looking back at your life at 85, 90 years old? That was really powerful for me because the impact of that was, whew, how do I picture myself at 85? Am I in a wheelchair or am I vibrant and excited? And, I pictured myself as this, little tiny old woman with tons of spunk and tons of love to still give away at that age. And that's when it just hit me. It just hit me what it is that I get to cause and create, the massive influence that I get to have in this world. And that's what I want to share with you. I want to encourage you to take the time to really play with your vision and see what's possible for yourself. One of the best exercises that I found was to be magnetic. If you go to bemagnetic.com, there's a free clarity exercise. Lacey Phillips is the one who organized that setup and that company, and she is extremely powerful. I recommend starting there if you are open to meditation and really sitting with defining vision and clarity for yourself, the next step that I really set out to understand and what one of my business coaches helped me with is defining specifically what my purpose is. So I want to share that with you to give you an idea. But the purpose of my life is to empower others to lead in effortless abundance. I guide others to play in possibility. I empower them to get out of their comfort zone. I utilize my gifts of listening and wisdom to share that to build wealth and build their confidence. And what people find when they're around me is they really feel courageous and brave to take a stand for their life and their vision. And they get to explore this possibility of redirecting their wealth into their purpose for their life. And that just warms me up every time. It just makes me feel like I have purpose. Weird, right? So there are a lot of exercises to kind of define that, refine that along the way. And the last one that I will leave you with, if you are interested in going the business route, starting a business, maybe you're already in business. I know that I initially did not take this part seriously, and now that I have taken it seriously, it has really changed the way I show up every single day, and that's having my mission statement. Now, my mission statement is what informs others that I'm all about. My mission is to provide education and shifting the financial mindset and habits of people to improve their financial well-being, to really make effortless their finances in their life. So having that effortless ability, being able to show up every day like that in their money talk, in their financial situation is what I want to get people to. And the vision is really what informs you. So that's your why, whereas the mission is what informs others you are all about. So I want to make some clarity around that. Now, in terms of kind of going back to staying confident, those are the three pieces that I look at every day, my mission, my vision, and my purpose, in order to align me with what I get to do each day. What are the activities that I get to show up in and make sure that that's what I'm doing always. I'm not letting other things distract me, and I get to show up and add value. And that's the magic. When other people light up, when I'm adding value, I know I'm on the right track. And that's what I want to empower you to do as well. When you start to use your gifts, use your tools that you already have within you, and you see other people light up, that's when you know you're in your zone of genius. And what's so awesome about creating that experience for someone else is it's reciprocal. You're feeling something and experiencing something from that on your own. They're going to go light up and give that light to someone else. So it's just this reoccurring cycle of allowing all of us to start somewhere, be confident, and really sit with what value we get to provide to the world around us.